Look at your life. Really look at it. You've spent the last 3 years building a cocoon of comfort, haven't you? You're floating. No weight, no stakes, no struggle. And you wonder why you feel so empty? It's because you've traded your soul for a soft chair. You're not relaxing, you're decomposing. If you're okay with drifting into insignificance, keep scrolling. But if you're tired of being a ghost in your own life, hit that subscribe button. Prove to the algorithm, and yourself, that you're still alive. You're drifting. You don't want to admit it, but you can feel the weightlessness in your soul. Look around your room, look at your screen, look at the routine you've spent years optimizing for maximum ease. You've finally achieved it, haven't you? You've eliminated the friction. You've silenced the critics. You've bypassed the struggle. You've created a world where everything is just a click away, where the temperature is always perfect, and where nothing is ever asked of you that you don't feel like giving. Congratulations. You are officially in the danger zone. Nature has a brutal law that you've been trying to outrun: anything that doesn't face resistance atrophies. If you put an astronaut in space, where there is no gravity to push back against their bones, their skeleton literally begins to dissolve. Their body decides that because it isn't being challenged, it no longer needs to be strong. That is exactly what is happening to your character. You are living in a psychological zero-gravity trap. Because you have no red lights to stop you, no heavy lifting to strain you, and no North Star to demand your discipline, your spirit is becoming brittle. You aren't finding yourself in the comfort, you are losing the very parts of you that make you formidable. Think back to the last time you felt truly proud. Was it when you were scrolling through a feed? Was it when you took the shortcut? No. It was when you were back against the wall. It was the moment you had every reason to quit, but you stayed in the pocket. It was the resistance that gave you form. Matthew McConaughey said it best: you've got to push off of something to go somewhere. But here you are, trying to launch a rocket from a swamp. You have no leverage because you refuse to stand on solid ground. You'd rather float in the lukewarm water of just okay than risk the chill of the deep end. But here is the truth that should keep you awake tonight: the world doesn't care about your potential. It only cares about what you've forged in the fire. And right now, your fire is out. You've traded your might for convenience, and you're wondering why you feel so invisible. You feel invisible because you are becoming transparent. You have no density. You have no edge. You've become a ghost in a life you're supposed to be leading. Are you okay with that? Are you satisfied being the person who watched others climb while you stayed in the lobby because the elevator was broken? Every second you stay in this trap, the door to the person you could have been closes a little more. You are running out of time to be significant. The question isn't whether you can handle the pain of resistance, it's whether you can handle the agonizing, slow-motion regret of a life lived in total comfort. If your heart is racing right now, good. That's the first bit of friction you've felt in a long time. Don't let it go. In the next chapter, we're going to stop talking about the trap and start talking about the cost. Because before you can escape, you have to realize just how much your easy life is actually costing you. You've been sold a lie that talent is a golden ticket. You've been told that if you're gifted, the world will eventually find you, crown you, and carry you to the finish line. But look around. The world is littered with talented failures. The gutters are full of people who had innate ability but lacked the stomach for the struggle. You think your potential is a promise? It's not. It's a debt. And right now, you're in arrears. Talent is the seed, but sweat is the rain. Think about the dunk Matthew McConaughey wanted so badly. He wanted it for years. He had the passion, he had the dream, he had the desire. But it wasn't in his DNA. He had to face the brutal reality of his own limitations. But here is where most people quit, and where the elite begin. He didn't stop moving, he pivoted to what was in his DNA. He found his innate ability and then, and this is the part you keep trying to skip, he applied sweat equity. He didn't just act, he learned the craft. He didn't just show up, he hustled until the world had no choice but to demand what he was supplying. Visual, fast-cut montage of blueprints being drawn, wood being sanded, and someone working late under a single desk lamp. You want the payoff, but you're terrified of the price tag. You want the Oscar without the 16-page letters to yourself in the middle of a breakdown. You want the best self without the work ethic. You're trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand because you're too lazy to dig for the rock. Every time you choose the shortcut, you are devaluing your own soul. You are telling yourself that you aren't worth the hard way. But the hard way is the only way that leaves a mark. Anything given to you for free is a hollow shell, anything you sweat for becomes a part of your permanent architecture. Do you feel that? That slight discomfort in your chest? That's your ego realizing it's been caught. You've been relying on what you got and wondering why you're still stuck in the middle of the field. You're middle of the pack because you've stopped improving your skills. You've started to believe your own hype, or worse, you've started to believe your own excuses. I'm not talented enough, or the market is too crowded. Shut up. The world is always hungry for someone who is willing to do the work that everyone else is too comfortable to touch. The payoff isn't the money. It isn't the fame. The payoff is the moment you look at something you built with your own 2 hands, something that took blood, tears, and 1,000 no's, and you realize that you are no longer the person you were when you started. You've earned your own respect. And that is a currency that never inflates. But don't get comfortable yet. Because even if you start working, even if you start sweating, you're going to hit a wall. You're going to hit a red light that makes you want to turn the car around and go back to the zero-gravity trap. And if you don't understand how to use that light to find your North Star, all this sweat will be for nothing. You've been taught to pray for green lights. You've been conditioned to believe that a blessed life is one where every door opens, every light stays green, and every path is paved with velvet. You think that if you hit an obstacle, it's a sign to turn back. You think the red light is your enemy. But you couldn't be more wrong. A life of nothing but green lights isn't a journey, it's a high-speed collision with mediocrity. Without the red light, you never learn how to stop, how to breathe, or how to check your coordinates. Without the pause, you're just a runaway train with no destination, burning fuel until you inevitably run out of gas in the middle of nowhere. The resistance you're running from is actually the only thing giving you a shape. Think about a diamond. A diamond doesn't decide to be beautiful. It is forced into brilliance by the crushing weight of the earth. It is the resistance of the stone that creates the clarity of the jewel. Or look at an airplane, it doesn't take off with the wind, it takes off against it. The very air that tries to push the plane back is the same force that provides the lift. Your life works exactly the same way. The red lights, the failures, the heartbreaks, the rejections, the no's that keep you up at night, those aren't interruptions to your success. They are the architecture of it. When Matthew McConaughey talks about limitations revealing style, he's talking about the art of the struggle. If you could do anything, you would do nothing. It is only when you are told, you can't go this way, that you are forced to find a new way. It's in that pivot, that desperate, sweaty, late-night reimagining of your future, where your true character is born. You don't find your North Star in the bright noon of success, you find it in the pitch-black midnight of a crisis, when it's the only light left to follow. But you've been avoiding the dark. You've been so terrified of a red light that you've stayed parked in the garage of your own comfort. You're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect sign. You're waiting for the world to give you permission to be great. It's never going to happen. Permission isn't given, it's taken. It's taken at 4 a.m. when your body is screaming for sleep. It's taken when you launch that project even though you're terrified it'll fail. It's taken when you choose to stand for something even when everyone else is sitting down. Ask yourself, are you a person of substance, or are you just a shadow? Shadows only exist when the sun is out. But people of substance, they carry their own light. They thrive when the resistance is highest because they know that gravity is the only thing that gives them leverage to climb. If you want to reach the summit, you have to stop cursing the incline. The mountain isn't in your way, the mountain is the way. You're curious about how to find that North Star, aren't you? You're wondering where the payoff is for all this pain. The payoff isn't at the end of the road. The payoff is the person you become while walking it. But there's a trap waiting for you, a subtle, poisonous lie that kills more dreams than failure ever could. It's the tips included fallacy, and if you don't learn how to spot it, you'll stay a spectator for the rest of your life. We live in the era of the fluffer. We live in a world that wants to give you the grade without the study, the trophy without the sweat, and the lifestyle without the labor. It's the tips included era, where the service is guaranteed regardless of how much effort is actually put in. And you've fallen for it. You've been conditioned to expect a reward just for showing up. You think that because you have a pulse and a dream, the world owes you a seat at the table. But when the reward is guaranteed, the soul becomes a beggar. Think about the poem McConaughey shared. When extra credit is included, the credit itself loses its value. When participation is the trophy, the win becomes meaningless. You are currently stealing from yourself by taking the path of least resistance. You use tools to bypass the thinking, you use shortcuts to bypass the work, and you use convenience to bypass the growth. You've outconvenienced your own evolution. Every time you choose the easy road, you are making a silent contract with mediocrity. You are saying, I am not strong enough to earn this, so I will settle for being given it. Do you see the danger? When you don't have to work for the payoff, you lose your might. You lose your voice. You lose the sweat equity that makes a man, or a woman, vibrant and real. You've become a collector of other people's efforts. You watch the hustle videos, you read the success quotes, and you feel like you've accomplished something just by consuming the content. But consumption is not creation. Watching a man lift weights doesn't make your muscles grow. Listening to a philosopher doesn't make you wise. Only the sweat equity of doing the work yourself can do that. You are currently living in a red light district with the whore of inflation, as the poem says. You are inflating your self-worth based on things you haven't actually built. You have unlimited options, but you are more confused than ever. You have every convenience at your fingertips, but you are more miserable than ever. Why? Because fulfillment is a byproduct of effort. It cannot be bought, it cannot be downloaded, and it certainly cannot be included in the price of admission. The payoff you're looking for is hidden behind the work you're avoiding. You think the gift is the destination, but the gift is the grit. The gift is the late nights when no one is watching. The gift is the rejection that forces you to get better. If you keep waiting for the tips included version of life, you will wake up 10 years from now with a hollow chest and a heavy heart, realizing you never actually lived, you just spectated. Are you ready to stop being a guest in your own life? Are you ready to stop relying on fate and start putting your hands back on the wheel? Because there is one final wall you have to break through. It's the most terrifying thing you'll ever face. It's not the world, it's not the economy, and it's not your boss. It's the person staring back at you in the mirror, the one who's been lying to you this whole time. In the final chapter, we stop the talking. We stop the theorizing. We're going to look at the mirror, and we're going to decide, are you going to keep acting, or are you finally going to become?